Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So this community is going on its 21st year, and I got to tell you,
That's right.
yeah, that's something to celebrate.
Yep.
And we can what? We can drink. We can drink now. But I tell you what we're going to do, Ty. We have to do a whole karaoke with just your songs.
Okay.
Now, wouldn't that be a riot? Karaoke with his music.
Oh my God.
That would be a riot. But I want to assure you, I'm bringing somebody up to speak in one moment, but I have to say to you that I'm still surprised sometimes how when I speak, my own message moves me.
Yeah.
So last week when I spoke about self-care as a practice of being honest with oneself and stop lying and stop being inauthentic, it opened up this can of worms. It opened up a can of worms this week for me of downloads and contemplation. I found it to be a little bit unnerving when I really began to think about what does it mean to really be authentic, to not lie to yourself or someone else. I was like, oh, holy moly. So I got to recognize where I haven't been authentic. And so then I find my growing edge, right, and what I have to do. So I'm just saying to you, and I remember having this happen to me when I went to the Morristown Center. There was a point that I felt like I didn't hear anything new anymore, and that happens. When you're around long enough, it happens. But I also knew I was there for other people. That was the main reason. But if you could take any Sunday talk by anybody at any point, and if you really fully ingest it and contemplate it, you're going to find your growing edge. You're going to find something in it.
Yes.
It's not just about shutting off on Sundays. And so we have, I want to bring up for you today, one of our newer members, but someone who's been in the teaching for a long time. And she's quite precious, and we have a very sweet relationship. And she's here to chat with you a little bit about her why. Her why. Why is she in this teaching, and why is she here in this community? Please welcome Cindy Odell.
Thank you. You know I'm short, so that wouldn't work.
You can hold it.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. She stole my thunder. She introduced me, but I'm Cindy Odell. And the other day I was having a conversation with Edna, and she asked me why I'm here. You don't know me very well, but when you get to know me, you'll find out I can talk to a rock. Even though I say I'm an introvert and I'm shy, that's a story. But yesterday I didn't really have a way to explain why I'm here. And as we were talking, it became clear to me. I have been in Science of Mind teaching, I don't know how long. I was planted first in Morristown and loved it. That's a family for me. And I took a sojourn to Vermont thinking I needed to relocate when really what I needed was just a long vacation, not a two-year isolation in COVID. And so when I came back, because that was also a wasteland for spirituality for me. Vermont is really out there, but I didn't find spirituality. I'm a therapist. I was online 40 hours a week, shrinking heads and expanding minds. And so on a Sunday, I'm funny too. On a Sunday, I could not find God on the internet. So for 2 years, I lived in a wasteland. And I came back to CSLM, and it was delicious to come back to my family, but there was something missing. And I've learned 2 things. I've learned to shut up and listen, and when I'm asked to say yes, even though I don't know what I'm being asked, just to say yes. That's why I'm standing up here today. And Reverend Michelle came and she did a workshop on forgiveness. Hadn't even thought about it, but I'm I was a teacher in another lifetime, and I love to learn, so I said yes, and I sat in her workshop. And then there was a class on forgiveness, and I did the dance right up until the day before. Do I take it? Do I do the workbook? Really? You're not going to do the workbook on your own. Take the damn class. So I took the class, and I said yes, and my life just kept expanding, and then I walked in here. Easter Sunday, the first Sunday, where I also cry. Easter Sunday, when we got to be up close and in person. And I came home. I saw Ty. You're not strangers to me. Every time Reverend Frankie was away, I played hooky and I came to listen to Reverend Michelle. So all of your faces are familiar to me, even though you might not know me. I know some of you a tiny bit, and I know your faces and I know your hearts because you're in mine. And why am I here? Because your love is my oxygen. Donald came up to me today, and he stooped down because he's so much better. And he hugged and hugged and hugged me. And I could just feel my heart, like the Grinch's, just expanding. And Reverend Michelle, when she hugs me, and Reverend Neil, and there's nobody that doesn't hug me where I don't get life breathed into me. And then I said yes, and said to Ty, can I please sing with you? And he said, absolutely. I feel so blessed. There are 3 ministers here, holy moly, that blows my mind. That is the icing on the cake, and then add Ty into it, and the choir. Icing on the cake, gravy on the biscuits. I'm a foodie, what do you... It's all good. And I just love being here because this is where I'm fed and this is where I breathe. And I say yes. I say yes because I haven't found a good reason to say no. I say yes because there's a vision and promise of a greater yet to be, and you all show me that. And as I say what I'm saying today, I watch the smiles and people nodding and saying, Kind of feels like when I first walked into a 12-step room, but I get to know your last names. I am so in love with this teaching. I am so in love with you. And I am so grateful that you let me be part of this family. Thank you.
Does this go? No. Okay. I will pop it out. There we go. All right, so I'm going to read our affirmation for June, but I want to remind everyone that in July, we will be meeting here the 16th and the 23rd. So the first 2 Sundays, we will be with our online friends, and the second 2 Sundays in July, we will be back here in person. So your affirmation is printed on the handout that you received when you came in, so we can read it together. I am worthy of loving myself through acts of self-care. I care for myself in all ways so I may be whole. I rise above any judgment of myself to be healthfully, fully expressed. Joy expands in my life as I serve this body that houses the presence of God as me.
This is my
holy work, and it is good.
Very good.
So we have another song?
Yep.
Yes? Yes, okay.
This is the song I've been looking forward to doing again once I found out how many people we have in the choir now. Right?
It is my privilege. You should rejoice and be glad that we have the fabulous Toni Hamilton to give us our talk this morning on her birthday week.
I can do that.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ty. Don't worry. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, you always hear me say that I am in awe of the synchronicity, thank you, Ty, that occurs in our center. This morning, I had this idea that I wanted to say thank you to everyone. I had the idea that I wanted to say thank you because without you, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
We wouldn't be having this experience. And you know what your mind does. Who am I to say thank you? I'm not Michelle. I'm not Reverend Neil. But my spirit said, say thank you.
Joe, quiet as anything, but always there. Donald, you have no idea what your hugs mean to us. Richard, Ty, Celine, Clive. And Reverend Neil, you have a special place in my heart because in my experience, one day you just showed up and started giving. Started filling in where there were voids. Listen, you always hear us say, take classes, take classes, take classes, right? Look, I'm like, I'm not taking another class, okay? I'm just telling the truth. I have taken classes in the past several months in this center that have been, oh my gosh, changed my life, changed my world. You know, we're doing the Bust and Loose book. Reverend Joel has been doing the Julia Cameron books. And there are people here that are just being themselves and just giving and making a difference in people's lives. You know? Thank you, Bill. I can't call everybody's name, but really thank you to everyone. Jerry, thank you for showing up today. She says, what could you thank me for? Because I know that you had the love, the courage, the wisdom, whatever it took to get better. That impacts me, that gives to me, that feeds me, that nourishes me. And so, part of my talk this morning that I wrote, I was a little concerned that I was going someplace that maybe I didn't have a right to go. That maybe I didn't have a right to ask of us in this center. But guess what? Then Michelle got up and spoke, and Cindy got up and spoke, and I was like, okay, Spirit, I'm hearing you.
All right.
I'm hearing you. And so I wrote all this stuff. Our focus this month is embracing self-care. Our topic today is personalizing the infinite. The very first thing I thought of when I saw that topic was, I need to change it because I have spoken to them so much about that they probably don't want to hear it again. And then I said, quick, this voice came in. I can't even say I said it. This voice came in. Oh, but you haven't mastered it, girl, so keep talking. Quick as anything, that voice came in. The big challenge, let me own it. The big challenge for me in this teaching has been personalizing the infinite. You've heard me say it so many times before. Whatever religion we originally came from, whatever spiritual teaching we originally came out of, God was a man up in the sky, right? Far removed from us, who was watching us to see whether or not we made a choice of being good or bad. I'm grateful for the moment I figured out that there's no choice in that. That's not a choice. That's flawed. There's something wrong with that. No disrespect to anybody that believes that. I pray for you that you're guided to the truth. The difficult part was hanging out in I don't know. I don't know. So if that's not God, then I'm down here lost by myself. And I wasn't so good at managing some things in my own life, never mind the things I ran into in the world. Now, I have no idea, but I've always had within me to look at the truth, to look at the big challenges, even though I was devastated by the fact that I couldn't do anything about them. You see, before you can do anything about what's going on in the world, you have to be able to manage your own self and your own world. And what that means is that we have to, number one, know who we are. We have to know ourselves. And that may sound like, yeah, of course we do, okay. But the living of it every day, we're so busy, caught up in and living life and just trying to survive that we barely have the time. Especially if you're a parent. I have no idea how you manage, how you do it. You know? I'm not, and I've struggled with it myself. But we have to know ourselves. We have to know who we are, what's important to us, what matters, what feeds us, what nourishes us. We have to know how to heal ourselves. We have to know how to push through and work through and maneuver around our fears, our blocks, whatever stops us. And I don't know about you, but too many times in my life I have not. I'm talking about the classes Joel did the Artist's Way. The first time that I took it, Reverend Cheryl and Alan did it at our center. It changed my life. There were things I had wanted to do when I was younger that I didn't even remember. It helped me remember, and then I started on a journey to doing them. But guess what? I had blocks. I had blocks and I didn't know how to get past them. And along comes Bill, who says, I want to share this. I want to share my art. I love this. Yeah, the truth is I pulled on him a bit. I did. I bothered him. Please, Bill, teach a class, teach a class. But he said yes. And so when I look at the world, in the Boston Loose book, they say, whoever the author is, forgive me, no disrespect, I don't remember his name, but he says that we are incredibly powerful and we create our experience, and we have hid the truth of who we are from ourselves. Now I gotta tell you, I wasn't real happy with that. I was like, that makes no sense. Why would I do that to myself? This has been hard sometimes. I said, okay, I'm trying to learn. Let me just read a little further in the book and try and accept it and go with it. The key point being, I am powerful enough to create my life, to create my world. And if I create it, then I can change it. Now that I'm interested in. Because I got into this teaching because I wanted to change my life. I wanted to be able to create the life I wanted to live, and I wanted to teach the people that I loved, that I saw in pain, how to do that. That's why I became a practitioner. Okay? And so look at what we have been through the past few years. Look at what you see in the news. I gotta be honest, for a long time I didn't watch it. I didn't, because it was just too much, and what could I do about it? We went through COVID. And it was not all right with me. Not only was it not all right with me, it conflicted with my ability to create the world I wanted to live in. And you know I gotta say this, the conspiracy theories were flying left and right. And I got to the point, if somebody said it's a conspiracy theory, I went right to it because I was looking for the truth. Because I'm like, somebody's trying to get me to turn away from that and not look at it. So let me look at the truth. And then I learned, oh, I got to research and really dig deep. It takes time. But I had to do that. And when I'm talking to people, some of you here, and I'm talking about what's going on, and nobody wants to talk about it, and nobody's got any answers, and we're all overwhelmed, so nobody wants to face it. I was like, I know what to do. And I sat and I meditated. When I came out of that meditation, I was good. I knew, I understood. My point is that we have tools in this teaching that will allow us to know what we need to know, to do what we need to do, to be who we need to be. And I will say it over and over and over again, that in that process, in order to do that, at some point, we have to develop a personal relationship with spirit. But spirit is not a person. So how do I do that? I can tell you that when you use our spiritual practices, when you introspect, when you go within, at some point, you're gonna connect and you're gonna be guided. You're gonna bump up against the presence, okay? It is not enough to intellectually know. We have to experience it for ourselves and be able to use it. So, for me personally, and I only share this as a possibility, as a way, I love being in nature because I experience the presence in nature. I experience that energy. It is visceral. I feel it, okay? And that opens my heart. So I'm able to share my mind. I'm able to share my heart. And if you don't have an experience of the presence, then test it. When I came into this teaching, 40 some odd years ago, I'm telling my age now. When I came into this teaching, it was called religious science. The point being that you could test and prove or disprove the spiritual laws that we teach here. Like science. All you got to do is do the work, and it will be revealed to you. Now, I don't know about you guys, it's taken me longer than I wanted it to. Maybe I'm slow, I don't know. But it works. And so, according to Busting Loose, I created this place where there are people who are loving, where there are people who feed me and nourish me, where there are people who guide me, where there are people who forgive me, where there are people who will tolerate me even when we don't exactly agree. I created this little world. That's huge. And what I know is, I now know that I can impact, that I can influence some of the huge stuff that's going on in the world. So, rumor has it on the internet that they are planning on getting rid of the dollar and going to some kind of electronic currency. And there's a man on the internet that says, when we do that, we'll tell them what to buy. They'll have to buy what we tell them to. So that made me very upset. I come from a history of people who walked through slavery for whatever reason. I want no parts of it. Okay? And I'm sharing that because I got overwhelmed and I got afraid and I said, I can't do anything about this. And Spirit said, oh yes you can. There's a movie that's coming out. I think it's coming out 4th of July weekend, and it is about human trafficking. It is overtaking the drug trade. That's chilling. It's frightening. And I look and I say, I can't do anything about that. Oh yes, I can. You see, when I came out of my meditation after COVID, what I got was, it was during COVID, but it doesn't matter. What I got was, I can only be me. I can do what I can do. I can share what I have to share. I can share my gifts, and there is oneness. There is only one. And so this little small voice who maybe sometimes lacks self-confidence and thinks I can't make a difference, I can. And it may or may not be for me to do something huge, okay? But I can add. I can make a difference. I can use my energy in a positive, constructive way instead of recoiling in fear and feeling small and feeling like I can't make a difference. The power and presence that creates, sustains, and maintains life is within me, my little small self, and is available to me. And I love this synchronicity because it's an example. It's showing me the presence of God active in my life right now. And so I don't worry about not having all the answers anymore. Does my mind think, yeah, well, but if enough of us don't have Spirit moving through us, if we're not aware of it, then maybe we may have a problem? Because you see, I came into this teaching, I couldn't trust anything because my question was, well, how the heck did slavery happen? How was that possible? And for so long, that bothered the living daylights out of me. Self-care is taking responsibility for yourself and then others. And it is true that sometimes by ourselves, we don't win the battle. But you see, love always wins.
Oh, yes.
It may take time, but love always wins. And so in closing, I want to invite you. I have a request. I want to ask you if you would take on a spiritual practice with me. And do it however it works for you, however it's meaningful to you, however it makes a difference for you. But I'm going to ask you to join me in understanding and knowing that your little drop of water in the ocean has value because the presence of God is there.
Yes.
And so I'm going to ask you if you would, when you are faced with things that are not okay with you, that don't seem right to you, that you don't want in your world, send it love. Know that there is a way to shift it, to change it. You may not know that in the moment, but have that intention. Send that positiveness. Take a stand. Make a decision that this has to change. Even though I don't know how, make that decision. Let that be the energy that you express in the world. That's what I'm asking you, if you would, if you care to and don't mind, join me in doing that. I want to close with doing our peace practice, because it is a really, really powerful tool that kind of brings that home. And it's short, it's quick, but it's powerful. Because what we are knowing and affirming when we do that is exactly what I've been talking about, that I can contribute to shifting the energy in the world and the things that are not okay and that are not working. Now, don't misunderstand me. In this teaching, it says you got to treat and move your feet.
Yes.
But only you can decide how you're going to move your feet. That's not for me to, okay? But we have to move. This is, Stuart Grayson said, this is a physical universe. It is backed by spirit. Spirit moves through it, but make no mistake. Make no mistake. There are physical laws at play also. So how you move your feet, that's up to you. And that needs to be spirit-led, because if it's not, you'll be in trouble. I'm just saying. So in closing, if you would just please kindly join me in doing our peace practice. There are things that are going on in the world, like Haiti. I mean, to think that Haiti had another earthquake, had rain and had more floods, and people can't even get in there to give them aid because the gangs are stopping them. You know, it's like, how much more are these folks going to go through? So I have to set the intention that they're not going to. I'm over here, okay? But I can send something positive to them, okay? There's stuff going on with Russia. You know, instead of just watching the news, let's use our energy, please, to make a difference. So let's just, if we would, close with our peace practice, and maybe incorporate that into your spiritual practice in the morning or whenever you do them, you know. So if you would just repeat after me, I am the peace I wish to see.
I am peace that I wish to see.
I hold this peace for my family.
I hold this peace for my family.
I hold this peace for my community.
I hold this peace for my community.
And my community holds this peace for the world.
And my community holds this peace for the world.
Let's take it into treatment. What I know is that there is a presence. There is a presence. It is life itself. It is visceral and it is real. It is an intelligence that expresses in and through and as all of life. It is perfect, whole, and complete. This presence is infinite and unlimited. It is love. It is light. It is joy, it is beauty, it is harmony and wholeness. And this presence expresses in and through and as each one. It creates all that there is. It creates each one uniquely and individually, and it sustains and maintains each one. What I know is that this power and presence is expressing in and through and as each and every one of us. And what I affirm for each and every one of us is that we get to know this presence for real, that we are in relationship with this presence so that we allow it to express as ourselves, so that we allow it to inform us, so that we allow it to feed us and nourish us and guide us and move through us and empower us in our individual lives and in the world. This power and presence is real. It's not out there. It's not confusing. It is in here. And if I open my mind and heart and go within, I connect with it and I'm divinely guided. Sometimes the connection comes from within myself. Sometimes the connection comes from you or from somebody else. Sometimes it comes from a bird flying through the trees and singing, and sometimes this connection comes through a storm. But it is, and it is the truth, and it is always available. It is always expressing in and through and as me and you, and its intention is life, love, freedom, joy, peace, wholeness, perfection, balance, and any and everything good. And so what I know is, as I allow myself to embody this truth, as I allow myself to live from this place, I'm able to give to the world and express in the world my small voice of what God intended, Spirit intended, the presence intended. I don't care what you call it, just know that it is. Know it deeply, know it intimately, and know it well. Then, each one of us lives a life of value, of peace, of joy, of creative self-expression, of beauty and wholeness. And so I simply release this word into the law, knowing that it is the truth. And it is the divine power and presence that I call God that makes it so. Please close with me. And so it is. Thank you.